Let me tell you about my take on relationships. We are so inundated with all these different reality shows that I think we're losing the essence of the realness and the hope that lies within solid relationships. I did a deep study on a deep dive, and I was looking at it and I kept saying that it seems like everything is so superficial. Where's the depth of the relationship? So if somebody walks in and they are absolutely the way the society decided drop dead gorgeous, their definition of what that is, and we have owned that. And we've owned that and we have marginalized and minimalized the whole concept of dating as how somebody looks. I don't seem to hear the conversations about what are your non negotiables? What are the things that you value in life? That's how you solidify a relationship, getting on the same page. Because let's face it, if you look bam, 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 right? You're rocking that look according to what society said is the look. What happens if you get hurt? What happens if you get sick and you no longer have that, what society has said is bam, bam, bam? Where then lies your opportunity to be involved in a very deep and meaningful relationship? What matters? What matters to you? What matters to them? Are you compatible? Meaningful means, where does Angela want to be? Where do you want to be in the next year, the next 5 years? What is important to Angela? I'm identifying who I am first, what I want, what's important to me. Love on my terms. Love should be on your terms. Yes, always compromise becomes a part of the equation, but let's face it, love requires you first to love yourself, understand you, understand your likes and your dislikes, and then you stand firm on those. Not firm in a negative way, in an overbearing way, but a way in which it says, I have some convictions. So if I want a solid relationship, I've got to first identify what I want. And then once I've done that, and what does that mean? This is everything, you guys. What do you enjoy sexually? Have you explored yourself? Do you know what you're looking for in a mate, in a relationship? Do you know what it means when you're looking at being intimate? What are you looking for? What is important to you? And what are you willing to reciprocate? What are you willing to do in order to satisfy that mate? Are you both on the same page? Maybe yes, maybe no. On eating, so many things, right? So many of my friends now are becoming vegans and vegetarians, and some are becoming pescatarians, and all of those things. And what is your drive on those? Is it just the thing to do right now, or have you looked at things from a health benefit? I submit to you that it is not the size, it is the health. If all your blood work is done and all the blood work is showing everything is normal, you're healthy. Embrace you. Don't allow the media, society to tell you what's beautiful, what is bodacious. Be you. Just do it from a healthy perspective. Do you want children? If you have children, how do you raise your children? What is your importance on discipline? Do you want the person that you're with to be able to discipline your child? What are your positions? Finance. Huge thing. Do you want to run their credit score? You know, what credit score are you looking for? What kind of consciousness do you want to know that this person coming along has the same values? Your spending patterns. Are you a spendthrift or are you a conservative spender? All of those things. Can you cook? Is cooking an important thing for you? Do you want both to be on the same page of cooking? Do you believe in male roles and female roles? Do you not? Are you okay with the stay-home dad and you go out and get the breadwinner? You've got to identify your life. You've got to identify what you enjoy. And once you do that, you can have an intentional conversation with the person that you're spending time with. You can have an intentional conversation with the person that you are going out on a date on. And you don't have to wait to the 6th or 7th date to start exploring the things that you like. You should be doing that on the first date, because why have a second date if it's absolutely going nowhere anyway? So be of good courage. Be hopeful. Was talking to a friend of mine and she said that she was becoming feeling hopeless about relationships because of what is out there. And she said she had to move her mindset to hopeful. That's what this is about. Your life should be hopeful. A statement was made to me, and I want to say to you that at the end of the day, when some people ask me, Angela, why are you single? And I gave my litany of things that were important to me, and they said, well, you know, Angela, God didn't make a whole lot of men like that. And I said, you're absolutely right. And God didn't make me for a whole lot of men. That helped me become grateful and optimistic about where I am, because that who God has for me, that who is out there, they're going to come. I don't have to look at every man who comes through the church door or look on their finger or everywhere I go. I get to know that there are some people who have been made specifically for Angela Harris. Same as for you. There are some people that have been made specifically for you. And when you are in a single space, you are getting ready for that. I share with my niece, it is important that the female be the cheerleader of her husband, of that future husband. Well, ladies, you got to marry somebody you can cheer. And gentlemen, if you're looking for somebody, have your criteria together. And you've got to put that out there. It says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So did you find a good thing? And what is that criteria? Have we limited and marginalized it to she's a size 5, she's athletic, she's fine. I mean, she is fine. She gets my senses rolling. At the end of the day, when all of that is gone, what is left? Can you be friends? You know, the most important thing you can know is that the first step of having a solid relationship is being friends first. Because friends tend to have a lifetime of commitment. There's been said that people are in our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Is that person in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime? If they're in for a reason, then categorize them as that and spend time with them as that. There's a reason for that. Don't look beyond that. This way your feelings won't get hurt. This way you won't be walking around or feeling that somehow you've been victimized, you've been done wrong, because you have put them in a category that, you know what? They're good for a couple of rolls in the hay, a couple of dates. That's the limit of our relationship. That's the reason, right? Then there's a season. This person may be in there because they bring some good encouragement to you. You guys have some laughs, but it's just for a season. It's not meant to be a lifetime. Once you can realize who people are in your life and their purpose in your life, you can function a lot better. Be a little bit more cerebral than heart into when you're dealing with someone. Take time to step back. Here's a huge secret. Ready for this, y'all? Here's a secret. Once you put sex in the equation, women, we go brain dead. We start making excuses. The longer you hold off from having sex in a relationship, the more you can hear and see and smell and taste everything. But once you jump in the bed, ladies, this is us. Now, I wonder what my last name looks like. I wonder what our kids will look like. I wonder, what's the wedding going to look like? Oh, the white picket fence. We have jumped into lifetime. We have jumped there. So when signs are coming our way that's telling us he's cheating, he's doing this, he's doing that, we make excuses. We excuse them because we jumped in the bed and now we've gone brain dead. On the flip side, the man is saying, wonder what it's like to get in bed with her. He gets in bed with her. Oh, that's what it's like. He's done with his speculations, right? And so with those things in mind, nobody was on the same page because nobody agreed to what the end game was. Nobody agreed to even what the start game was. You need to have an end game with whoever you're spending time with. And I'm not saying concrete, hard, fast. I'm saying that in conversation, the biggest missing component in relationships is the failure to communicate. You need to have a conversation. You need to have a communication. If you're talking about what you want, what you don't want, you realize this is only going to last for a few days, maybe a couple of months, you're good with that. You can't get hurt. Your feelings can't get hurt. You've identified that. If they're in there for a season, you've identified that. But you've already gone through first identifying the beginning, the reason, the season, and the lifetime. Lifetime cannot come without the reason and the season. Okay? But hurt can come from you thought it was a lifetime and it was only a reason. You thought it was a lifetime and it was only a season. So you've just got to take the time to realize that all of this stuff, this social media that's out there that we are being plagued with and that we're watching, that's not real. That's not reality. You must have a stake in this game. You must have a dog in this fight. You must value yourself to a point that nobody can come in and tell you what you should expect. Nobody can come in and tell you what you should be desiring. You're able to do that on your own. And that's the importance. That's the sufficiency of you. And that's what I'm promising you. If you know who you are, ladies, a man who comes into your world is going to appreciate that. He's going to appreciate in two ways. You know what? That's going to be my road dog. That's going to be my friend because I can't get with that. But I respect and appreciate her principles and what she stands on. And I value that. That's just not what I want. Or someone is going to come in and say, I love a woman like that. This is what I desire. You get the opportunity to embrace yourself as a whole and allow those around you to come in and explore you and to learn you. And if you ever find that you have to compromise in order to get that person to show you some attention, trust me on this and don't get it twisted. That person is not for you. You are letting your senses get to you. You're allowing the touch, the taste, and the feel of that individual to override the lasting fires and embers. You're allowing a flame that could be put out immediately, then allowing for those embers. You know, when you light a fire and that log is lit, soon those flames go down and you have the embers that keep the house warm, and they last a lot longer than the initial flame. And so we have got into, as I said, so much reality TV, so many of these dating shows that glamorize and actually create a false sense of thought that don't even value real people. I trip. How is it every woman that comes in, and there's exploitation. When I see the women come out, they're almost all in tiny, teeny bikinis, thong-style backs. They come in almost the women are being exploited, and then the men come in pretty much cool. Even if they're in bathing suits, they got the bathing suits down to the knees. You know, they're coming in. They are progressing, and they're not exploited the way that the women are. And yet what they're saying in these shows is, these size 3, 5, and 6, maybe most a size 7, probably I'm reaching there, that this is the epitome of what you should be pursuing. And that's not even the real world. There are some beautiful, beautiful women out there that are a 10, a 12. They are athletic. They are healthy. They are loving. They have so much to give. But we have people who are feeling like they're not a part of the dating game because they don't look like that. Sometimes we need to shut the TV off. Sometimes we need to shut things off and get into ourselves and own you. One of my favorite scriptures is, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are his works, and that my soul knows all too well. What that means, y'all, is that I was made by design, and everything about Angela is beautiful, and I don't have to subscribe to what society is saying. How do I control or have a part of or have a say in my love life is first to love me, to validate me, to lift me up, and to say, I won't settle for anything less than the best that God has for me. If you're not into religion, I won't settle for the best that I know I deserve. And I've got to be able to stand on that. Can you stand on that? If you want love on your terms, if you want a love that is lasting and that is something that you can aspire to have, it is to embrace fully who you are, what you want, what's important to you, to have intentional conversations. Don't quickly jump in the sack. have a relationship that you never talk about those things, and then you find yourselves, if you don't do that, you find yourself saying, oh, I didn't know this about him, I didn't know this about her, because you put the cart before the horse. See? There's a saying, ladies, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Stand on your principles. Stand on a piece of man is better than no man. That's a lie. That's a lie from hell. Why do you want a piece of man? Don't you want a whole man? Men, don't you want a whole woman? So you've got to be able to identify. You've got to be able to stand. You've got to be able to say, for real, though, that this is who I am, this is who I want, and this is what I deserve. Now, somebody can come into your life and augment some of those thoughts because you were able to reason together. Maybe a position you take requires some further delving into, some further conversation. It doesn't mean that it'll go away, but at least will give you some consciousness. For instance, I love this one story. So I had a friend in my life, and we were talking once, and he said, if I married you on the holidays, would we have to go to your mom's house? And of course I said, well, of course. Why wouldn't we? Everybody else is going to my best. That's the tradition. And he said, why wouldn't we as newlyweds begin establishing our own traditions? I had to stop and honor that thought process because it made sense. We'll go to my mom's, we'll go here, da-da-da. He said, what if I just want to go to London, Paris, France for the holidays? That becomes our tradition that we travel. And I had to say, so my position began, right, that I was going to, we were going to go to my mom's. This is how we did the holidays. My brothers, my sisters, my nieces, all of them came together. It didn't mean that we wouldn't do it. What the challenge was, are you standing firm on that and you're not open to being with somebody who would like to explore some other opportunities, some other things during those times? That's what it was. I'm sure we would go. We would have gone sometimes. But there would have been the possibilities. We would go to France maybe for Christmas, go bring in the new year there. And so that's what I mean by you can have a position, you can have things that you care about, but you can meet somebody that brings so many of the things that you want, and yet they bring a different perspective to a position that you have taken. That is not wrong. It's just open for conversation. It's just open for communication. So compromise, conversation, flushing out what you want, flushing out what you don't want. Another example for me was I was at a movie theater, met this really nice guy. I would go to the movies by myself, and we chopped it up, exchanged phone numbers immediately when we were talking. You know, I'm one who has intentional conversations, and I think I was 36 at the time, which tells you how long ago that was, and he was in his 20s, and so I laugh because I'm always telling my boy Kendall that I'm not a cougar, but I'm not. So that wasn't but that's just how it happened. And anyway, he wanted kids, and I said, I don't. And he said, well, you know, that's really important to me. And I said, I totally get that. I don't want children. There's never been in me a desire to have children. I never felt that was a call in my life. And so he kept calling, and I said to him, I said, you know, sweetheart, you really should focus your energies on somebody who wants the same thing you want, because I'm never going to want kids. He felt that if he kept talking to me, that he would beat me down in conversation and that I would change my mind. See, that's a mistake. Now, that's a huge mistake. That was a non-negotiable for me. That wasn't you could talk me into that conversation. There are some things that should not be discussed that are your non-negotiables that you should feel you have to change. I didn't feel I had to change that. The holiday thing, I could have that conversation. But having children, that wasn't a conversation that I was willing to have or a consideration. And because it meant so much to him, instead of holding on to that and me saying, well, if we stay together, then I can convince him that he doesn't need to have kids. And this wasn't about me birthing. The birthing process never interested me. But it wasn't about us even adopting kids. Angela didn't want kids, just period. Now, I have had kids in my life, children who, because of the will of God, they came into my life, and I provided respite for them and some conversation and some care. and then they moved on and they've reached back. But as far as it being intentional that I adopt, as far as me having children, that was never one of the things. So you've got to know and stand firm on what you want, what's important to you, and then not bend on those things, but be open to the conversation. You want a solid relationship? Come on, y'all. It's really not as difficult as one may think. It may mean that you don't have a trail, but who wants a trail? And a trail, if you have a trail of men that are following you, you're probably not putting your non-negotiables straight out there. It's probably more of a superficial, and they're chasing you because society said you're gorgeous. And I mean that respectfully. I say that respectfully because society has made us believe certain things, and we're running with those. And yet you got to be able to hold on to your truth and your beauty. And if you find yourself beautiful, then God has somebody out there that is going to find you beautiful as well, and who is going to embrace you as the beauty that you are, who is going to love on you and be all that you can be. So if you want love that'll never change, if you want love that will hold true to you, hold true to you and stand firm on your non-negotiables, because it's possible. And love is a beautiful thing when done right.